that female that hears you would believe that's something that she needs to look for as well. And everybody has their own, their own scale and their gauge of what they're expecting. Now, I told somebody, and I continue to say this, that I've pretty much taken myself off the market for a minute. You know, I believe that just like with everything that has value, if it's not, if they're not giving you what you're worth, you got to remove yourself off the list and kind of like, it's just not, it's not there. But I want to get back to that point because it's something that I want to talk to you about on today's show, Shardae. But I want you to introduce yourself to our listening audience. Let them know exactly who you are, what you do, all of that. Of course, we have a whole new audience, so I want you to make sure you cover everything just in case the viewers did not hear you on last week.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shardae Womack. I am a recent graduate from Southern University Law Center, and I am currently preparing for the bar in February. I have a Master's of Public Administration from Southern in Baton Rouge, and I also went to Dillard University, and I have an undergrad degree in political science. So currently, I am working on some conferences. I worked on a project and event on actually on Saturday.
Yes.
My sister had an awesome event. My dream team did their first community jam, but now I'm also working on a conference, and it is January. And I want everyone to definitely listen in. If you're between the ages of 13, honestly, to about 30, you can definitely partake. It's January 21st through the 22nd, and it's called the No Comparison, No Compromise Conference. And it's very befitting for the conversation that
Yeah,
Mary J and I will have
exactly.
today, because the conference will discuss issues when it comes to young women comparing and compromising in the world today. We usually look on social media, we're looking on Instagram, we're looking on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Snapchat, and we're comparing ourselves to other women, trying to see
So
if
true.
we're the right size, the right
Exactly.
height, the right shape, if we have the right fashion, the current things that are going on in the world. And so it's important for you all to come out. We have an awesome conversation and fellowship that'll take place. And this event, this conference actually is put on by Pink Nails Enterprises. And this is a nonprofit that some college friends started. And so we want to do our first conference in January. And that's January 21st and the 22nd. And that'll be in LaPlace, Louisiana. For more information, you can go to www.pinknailsent.com. And we
I
would
like the
love
sound
to.
of that.
Yes, it's definitely a girl's thing, but we want to empower the next generation. It's so important that as young women, we make sure that those who are coming behind us are able to still stand and know who they are without
Right.
compromising,
Right.
without comparing themselves, and just be okay with you. And it's
Yes.
okay to just be you.
That's right.
So that's
Absolutely.
the goal. And I'm excited. Everybody that's working on this conference is amazing. The visionary Jasmine Spear is an awesome woman of God, and this is something that is near and dear to her heart. And it's just a group of friends that came together, and we're just trying to give back the way we've already experienced a lot of
Right.
heartache. We've already
Right.
experienced a lot
Right.
of pain, and we experienced a lot of compromising and comparing.
Yes.
So we're trying to give them some heads up, some tools, some resources to be able to go in the world and be you, to go in the world and be you. So that's what I'm doing now, working on that. And then, of course, I am also the executive assistant to my dad and Pastor
All
Preston
right.
Jones
I was going to
of
tell you.
City of Refuge, New Orleans. And we're doing an awesome move of God over there. And kingdom building is what it's all about. And we have our fifth year church
Yes.
anniversary coming up on this Sunday, November 6th. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not the 6th. What is that?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
It's the
November
6th.
6th. Okay. This Sunday, November 6th at 11 a.m., 320 LaPelco Boulevard is where we will be celebrating. And Bishop Darrell S. Brister from Beacon Light
Twister Bristol will be in
International.
the house.
Yes,
Yes.
he will definitely bring a mighty word. So if you're
Of course.
able to attend,
Absolutely.
definitely come out to that. So I'm working on a few different things here and there, and I'm just flowing with God as God leads, of course. But that's all.
That's all. lot. You're doing a
Yes,
lot.
yes,
Praise God. I
yes,
mean, Shardae, intelligent, beautiful young woman of God, on fire, in her 20s, single.
yes,
Um, just and it's preparing for the board to take the board exam coming up.
yes,
Just put on a event, hosting an event and organizing with your sister, Michaela Womack, that
yes,
did the wonderful Dream Team event, Community Jam on Saturday. And it was such a blessing to see all of the children that were there,
yes.
that were
Awesome
excited.
turnout. Yes,
Yes, and the
awesome
parents
turnout.
were so happy
Yes,
to have their kids to be somewhere where they can be safe and enjoy. And there was so much that you guys had for
yes,
them out there. So you're doing that and the event that's coming up in January, the
yes.
conference. And you say, and that's all. That's it. It
Yes, that's all, and I'll expound, of course, as we go throughout the show, because I compromised and
uh-huh.
I compared
We
and I
got it.
lost myself,
Yes.
but thank God that I'm back,
Praise
and
God.
it's like I never left. So
Won't he do it?
yes, he will.
Yes.
So it's such a blessing to know who you are,
Right.
and once you know
Absolutely.
who you are, it's just a peace
Yes.
and a confidence that the world can't affirm
Right.
because it came from God. And so
Right.
you can move in it freely and you don't have to feel boxed in. You don't have
Yes.
to feel like you're in chains or shackles, but you can literally fly. Like I really feel like I can fly literally. And I feel like I can soar and do anything I put my mind to. And so that took a lot of finding myself.
Yeah.
That took a lot of moments um of doing the wrong thing.
Right.
And oftentimes we ask, what we like and what we don't like and what we want to do. But after you make so many mistakes, then you're able to say, at least I know for sure I don't want to ever do this again. And so it actually narrows down that list that we talk about. It actually narrows down the deal breakers because at that point
Good.
you know what the deal breakers are because you then broke every rule that there
Right.
could possibly be. And so now you can come back and say, okay, this is a deal breaker. This is a deal breaker. I don't want to go back to that place because that place I wasn't happy. That place I wasn't fulfilling the purpose and plan that God had for my life. In that place, I was angry. I was bitter. I was upset. And in that place, and that woman that used to be, I can't go back to her. And so you do everything in your
Awesome.
power
That's
to
right,
stay
Shardae.
where you are.
That's right. That's right. And that, and that's wonderful. And that's one of the reasons why I had you back on the show today because we're talking about love and relationships. And when I was led by the Spirit of the Lord to go into dealing with love and relationships, you can only do what's in you, first of all.
Yes.
That's number one. Coming from your places of experience. And secondly, I was like, well, God, February is the month of love. And
Yes.
that's, everybody's going to be talking about it then. But He led me to go into it now. And then I've gotten so much feedback from just having the show. And I had a young woman that inboxed me too and told me how much the show has blessed her in the topic matter. And she said, that's a good topic for this month because
Yes.
of the month. And I didn't know what she was talking about. I'm thinking, okay, what, the month of fall? Are we during the month of fall? I always call the fall months are the times that people go through stress and depressions.
Yes.
We always hear the saying to fall back,
Right.
and I'm like, I'm about to reverse that. Of course, we're talking about
Yeah.
as it relates to time
Yes.
in the clock to fall back, but we got to spring forward in the fall because
Yes.
that's a setup,
Yes.
straight from the pits of hell. But we're going to come right back into the studio, Shardae. I want to hear more about that. No compromise in these toxic relationships that we know that we've experienced from time to time, and we have compromised.
Yes.
Many of us have compromised at some point. But we're getting ready to get out of here. But we're coming right back from this commercial break. I hope you're listening to us on this morning. I have the beautiful, the anointed Shardae Womack is sharing with us in the studio today. We're talking about love and relationships, toxic relationships. How long do you hold on? When do you let go? And what Shardae is saying that they're deal breakers. They're not that many of a list now because she knows how to make the deal, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So stay tuned for Real Talk with Mary Jae on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back soon.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
happy Mary Monday, you guys. You've tuned in to Real Talk with Mary Jae, and we're live on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. I am your host, Mary Jae. Thank you, my listening audience, for sharing with us on this morning. I hope you're having a happy Merry Monday today. We're live back again in the studio from our commercial break with the beautiful Shardae Womack that's in the studio today. And we're talking about love and relationships. We did an episode on, toxic relationships as well. We're going to go into that a little deeper. I did that on my blog. You can visit me at blogtalk.com/Real Talk with Mary Jae for our 10 p.m. show right here in the NO. We're right here in New Orleans, so catch us at Central Standard Time. But Shardae is in the studio today once again. Shardae, thank you again for coming on with me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I am so excited about all what you're doing. We were talking about it a little briefly going into our commercial break. Oh, God has so much at your hand, Shardae, doing conferences and organizing and planning and executive pastor helping your father at City of Refuge Church with Pastor Preston Jones and studying for the bar exam.
Yes.
A young woman on fire in her 20s. And, we're talking about deal breakers, Shardae, as it relates to relationship, because, you're doing the conference coming up, No Compromise Conference.
Yes.
And, our experiences shape us into becoming who we really are.
Yes.
And I thank God for every part of it. But I'm going to be quite honest with you. We hear a lot of preachers, teachers always say, the anointing that God has given us is because of the things that we've gone through, of course. And I hear people say quite often, I'll do it all again. I won't do it again. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't want to do it again.
I don't want to do it again, guys. It was hard. It was some heartaches, some heartbreaks, some disappointments, some letdowns.
Yes.
Oh, God, no, I don't want to do it again.
No.
But, it has not gotten me, and I thank God that it has not gotten me to a place of bitterness and unforgiveness.
Yes.
I thank God for the spirit of forgiveness.
Yes.
Don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Forgiveness
important.
is liberating. Forgiveness sets you free. I thank God that I never had to struggle with forgiving, because I always understood that I never wanted anyone to have the power and the control over me and the blessings that God had in store for me. So forgiving is a given. You gotta forgive. So Shardae, let's talk about that on this morning, about toxic relationships and no compromise.
So forgiveness was an issue for me.
Yeah.
I could not figure out how I would have to forgive someone for hurting me when I did nothing wrong to
Right.
them. I didn't understand that. And I didn't understand that the forgiveness was for me at the time, right?
Yes.
So I'm young. I'm in my early 20s. I'm in college. I'm involved in so many organizations and helping rebuild New Orleans right after Katrina.
Okay.
And so at this time, I'm dating for a while, and all of my friends are in relationships. And so I never desired it ultimately, because I saw certain things that went on that I did not want to do, the deal breakers, and I didn't want to be a part of that. And so eventually I did get in a relationship and I compromised. And because I compared myself to what everyone else was doing, then I said, well, maybe I should get in a relationship. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do the same thing. And so in doing that, initially it appeared to be something great.
Right.
But last week I talked about evolving.
Yes.
And so the woman that I was at 20, and then the woman I was at 21, and then the woman I was at 22, and then
Yes.
at 23, that woman kept evolving.
Right.
And so nothing that I was intentionally doing, but what God was doing in me. And so as I evolved and as I changed, the person that I was with at the time, and I was in more than one relationship, but in either one, at the time that time was progressing, I began to say, okay, well, I'll do this, this, and this because this is what mama, grandma, cousin, sister did, right? This is how I was taught to cater to and submit to and things like this. Now, this isn't my husband, right? So that's
Right.
all out of order.
You're right.
So
I'm glad you brought that point out.
yeah,
too.
because see, this is what happens. We begin to compromise with one small thing.
Right.
As soon as you compromise with one small thing, then it opened a gate and a way for conversations to compromise on everything else.
Yes.
And that's how the enemy sets you up.
Right.
So one conversation takes place, and eventually you go from dating to actually performing wifely duties. So now you're cooking, cleaning, picking up dry cleaning and laundry, and
That's
you're not committed. You this isn't your husband. You know, the word of God says to submit to your husband, not to a possibility or a potential
That's
husband.
awesome, Shardae.
And
You're
so
on it.
we allow men to tell us, well, I don't know what I'm going to get in, and if we're going to get married, then I need to know if you could do these things. You can cook at your house and drop it off to him
Right.
and let him taste your food if it's really that serious, right? But
right.
what happens? We compromise. And so we begin to compromise on one small thing, and we say, well, I would never do this. And that's what happened to me. I said, well, I'll never do this. And so then I compromised on cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, and dry cleaning, right?
Right.
And so all of these things, that's not my husband. Why am I doing these
Right.
type of things? Then I began to compromise on whether or not I would go certain places and do certain things. I compromised on whether or not I would shack up or not.
Yes.
I said that would never be me.
Right.
I would never be in a space where I would live with someone before I get married.
I said the same thing.
And so
too.
then we say this
Right.
is what we say in our mind. Well, technically we're not living together because I have my own place and he has his own place.
Mhm.
But if he buy you 80% of the time or you buy him 80% of the time, then what is that?
Right.
But mentally, we try to justify our
Yes.
actions,
Yes.
and then we get caught up because at that moment where you compromise certain deal breakers that we talked about, then at that point, there's no coming back.
Right.
There's no coming back because once you start, my grandma always said, don't start what you can't finish.
That's right.
And so once you start acting like a wife, then you have to finish acting
Yeah.
like a wife.
Yeah.
But then when the breakup happens, it feels like a divorce,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
And no one tells you that. No one says, well, you can act like a wife for this amount of time, but then when the breakup comes, you're going to literally feel like it's a divorce,
Right.
right? Because the soul ties have to be broken.
That's right.
The soul ties have to be torn down. And so now I'm in a place where I'm hurt, confused, broken, and I have no one to be upset at but myself.
Right.
Because this is some decisions that I've made, and I've allowed someone to come into my space and allow me to make and influence me enough to make me compare myself to what everyone else around
Yes.
us is doing. And so if everyone else around us is doing this, and then this is the examples that I see, and so then I follow through with what I see, but not what I know, because I knew better.
That's right.
I knew better.
That's
And
right.
so then you have that broken, bitter, angry, frustrated woman, and I'm looking and I'm not happy.
Right.
But then there's this social media scene that we have to put up for, and so I have to still smile. I have to still be pleasant. I have to
Yes.
still be happy. I have to still go into that space and, be jolly and be the Shardae that everyone else knew, even though behind doors, that's not what I'm really feeling.
Right.
And then, as I evolved, then conversations began to take place, such as, well, I don't think I'm going to marry somebody that's so involved and have so much access to these different people, and you working in this organization, you're working with this, and you're just so busy and you're doing so many things. I'm doing what I was doing before you met me.
Right.
I'm working in
Right.
everything that I was the same qualities that you so loved are the same qualities that you're saying is going to be a deal breaker
That's
to
when
be
you
with
go
me.
into from compromise to comparison.
Yes.
Yes.
So now
And
I'm
competing.
yes, and now I have to dim my light.
Yes.
Right? And so because you're in a relationship, you want to please the man that you're with, right? We're taught to do that as women, to make sure that he's pleased in whatever he wants and desires. Now, this is not my husband, but this is what I'm doing. And so now I'm in that place where I'm dimming my light because he's feeling some type of way about all the things that are transpiring in my life.
I wish you can see my heart right now, because my heart has a big old happy smile on it. That's why I'm just letting you take the mic and go at it. Because go ahead, Shardae. Go ahead. Awesome. Because what you're saying is what I want young women to hear.
Yes.
Especially women in their 20s, because a lot of times I would say things, and I'm gonna give an example when I was married and all of the stuff that I did for my husband. And I was counseling a young woman at the same time, and she would hear me minister from the pulpit and say things about how you to cater to your husband and all of the things that you're to do and forgiveness and stick it out and stay
Mhm.
with it. But you have to understand, and that's why I'm smiling every time you say that was not my husband. You have to understand that when you hear a woman or man of God that are sharing these nuggets and saying what we have to do, that is not for you. You have to put yourself in a position to say, okay, is that my word or is that word for somebody else? That's your word when you get that husband.
Yes.
That is not your word when you have your boo, your sidekick, your boy that's just kind of like kicking it with you. And I had to let the young lady know, sweetheart, no, no. Because she said, because you do this and you do, but that's my husband.
Exactly.
So I'm just smiling hearing you say all of that because a lot of times when we hear the word preaching, we talk about if you with that person, you have to forgive them and you have to stick with them. You have to work it out. And women grab a hold of that and here they're with a person that's abusive,
Yes.
a person that's manipulating and controlling, that's isolating them. And they feel like, well, I have to forgive them and I have to stay there and I have to stick it out because I don't know what the end. And he may just be the one for me. That is not your word. Your word says to you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
You're the head and not the tail,
Yes.
above only and not beneath.
Yes.
You're more than a conqueror. Your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. That's not the word. You don't have to stay with somebody that you're not married to,
Yes.
that you're trying to please. And and you feel like because you love him, you want to show him and let him know that you love him. And you're doing all of these things. So, girl, you are blessing my heart this morning. You really are because, I find myself at my age now, I'm almost 50.
Wow.
you
You look good, Mary
Oh,
Jae.
praise God. Praise God. Thank God for him, but I'm almost 50 and I find myself saying, you know what? No, I'm not about to do that. Oh, no, I'm not. If you want somebody to chase you, you got the wrong one.
Yeah.
If you want somebody to blow up your phone and see where you are or see, or ask you out, you have the wrong one. If you
Yes.
want somebody that's going to be cooking and cleaning and serving and catering, no,
Yes.
But of course, I have those qualities. I can do that. I know how to do it. I've done it,
Yes.
and don't mind doing it and sharing it for somebody that I love
Yes.
and somebody that will appreciate it, but not for somebody that's going to expect it, but you don't even know if you're in a relationship or
Yes.
not. You all just, no. But so what you're saying at 20 and you got it at 20, baby, you ain't missing a beat. You ain't missing a beat.
Well, praise God, because I don't want to miss a beat.
Right.
But I think, and let me be very clear. The guys that I've dated, they aren't bad guys.
Uh-huh.
Their intentions were not ill.
Right.
But when and I don't want to even place blame on why it didn't work on them because that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
Because I have to go back and figure out what was going on with Shardae's mind at 20 something years old.
Uh-huh.
And why would I be in a space? Where was my mindset to allow certain conversations to go forth, and where was my mind to allow certain experiences to go forth? So I can't. We can't turn around and say, well, he hurt me or he did this because I allowed it.
Exactly.
So where is the responsibility on our end
Right.
to say, even though this was proposed to me, I did not have to accept what was proposed.
Exactly.
I could have said, no, this is not going to happen. So something was going on with Shardae prior to the relationship and even in the relationship. And of course, I'm sure with them as well,
Yes.
that wasn't all of, wasn't fully developed. And so in that time frame, I have to take responsibility now, knowing better,
Right.
that I don't allow myself to get in the mindset of feeling like I have to compromise, of feeling like I need an affirmation from a relationship or from anyone other than God.
That's right.
And when you get to that place, then you're able to go back and talk to the other young women that are behind that are coming behind.
And I believe that's a part of our experiences of why we go through. To get to a place where we can go back and empower and help and
Definitely.
talk to other young women and let them know the examples and that they don't have to go through what we've gone through, to give them a better way. But we have a caller on the line right now. We have Brother L. Mims on the line. Brother Mims, are you still there? I thank you for holding on for us today this morning. Brother Mims, are you still standing by?
Oh yeah, I'm standing by. That's what I am. A stand by me. Stand by. Yeah.
How are
No,
you?
I'm listening to your conversation, and I agree with many of the things you said, and I'm gonna speak if I can from a father standpoint, from a perpetrator standpoint, from a victim standpoint, and as a father of three daughters, and being a vampire on Halloween, being a victim on both sides, because I've had my second marriage, and God, thank God for my wife, but my first marriage, sometimes we don't know what the deal break is. We think that it's for better or worse, for richer or poor, till death do us part. Sometimes when things start getting bad, we think we need to go to the exit, run to the exit, but we don't. I'm speaking from a man and a woman standpoint. Sometimes, as far as women can stand is, I taught my daughters, and they grown, they're in their 40s and 30s, and I got grandchildren. They think that things gonna change, and they don't see what you see. I'm almost had to kill guys behind my children, behind my daughters. But in other side, I was a perpetrator. I was the one that perpetrated on women. When I was out there, I did it to the best. I was a nice guy, but I wanted them to give me what I wanted.
Right.
You understand?
Right. Right. And see, and that's a good point too, because a lot of times men don't understand that the things that they do, there's a reaping and sowing process, and it may not come back on you, but it may come back on your children or your children's children. So what you're saying is that you were out there, and I know your brother L. Mims. We talked, and you know who's on the line. This is brother L. Mims, the activist L. Mims of New Orleans. Yes,
the recycle whoremonger.
Yes,
been there,
yeah,
done that.
of
And
course.
I'm not saying that with no pride. I'm saying
I
that
understand.
when we talk, I tell them, I say, now let's talk. Let's take off the gloves. I'm gonna tell y'all what the deal is, and it's not pretty. But sin ain't pretty.
Right.
It's devastating. And when you give yourself, when you give the most precious thing you got away, it hurts you. And when somebody can take it and just flaunt it around and misuse you, hello?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying, I'm gonna get off the phone, but I just want you to know, y'all stick to what y'all talking, because they got a lot of young ladies and young brothers need to hear what you got to say, because they don't have a clue about relationships. They don't know what deal breakers are. They think till, well, he hurt me and I got to forgive him. Some things you need to leave it alone. You need to be by yourself. That's not what God wants for you, and God didn't send that Negro in your life. God bless you.
Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Absolutely, Brother Mims. I appreciate you sharing with us on this morning on Real Talk with Mary Jae. We're getting ready to go in the commercial break, but I am so glad that you were able to share that with us. Deal breakers. Sometimes women, we hold on too long, and that's why I asked the question, how long do you hold on? And when do you let go? You have to know who you are and whose you are. If a person is not coming bearing substance, if they're not adding to your life, and all you see is division and you're being torn down, it's something wrong with that. And then if it's not reciprocated, because a lot of times we can give so much, we find ourselves giving them away what we want and not getting it back, and that's when we hurt ourselves. But like Shardae said, we allow it. And if you allow it, you tolerate it, you put up with it, we have to look at ourselves and see what is it about us that we're willing to accept such type of relationship. So stay tuned for Real Talk with Mary Jae. Don't go anywhere, you guys. We'll be right back with more on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Happy Merry Monday. You tuned in to Real Talk with Mary Jae, and we're live on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. I'm your host, Mary Jae. I hope you're having a happy Merry Monday. We're back from commercial break on today. We are talking about love and relationships, because so many look for love in all the wrong places, you guys, and we need to stop doing that. That's why I'm talking about relationships, toxic relationships. How long do you hold on and when to let go? I have the beautiful, anointed Shardae Womack in the studio with me on today, and we're shedding some light on that subject matter. And Shardae has came before us, and we talked about about the deal breakers, and compromise. And we go, Shardae, from compromise, of course, I said, to comparison and competing, and then when they start complaining, then we be like, okay, we try so much, especially women. And I want to say that to our women because we are emotional feelers.
Yes.
We're feeling creatures. We feel through our emotions, and all of that stuff gets stirred up in us, and we are nurturers. So a lot of times, ladies, because of how we're made, we have the tendency to try to nurture our men and try to give them everything that we want to give them. Sure, they talked about it as it relates to catering to them. I believe that that comes from within. It's either your upbringing or what you were taught or
Yes.
what you see. Because I'm pretty much a caterer. Sade, are you a caterer?
I am.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am.
But the thing is to know who to cater to,
Yes. And how far
how
to go.
far to go with
Yes.
the catering, how much you do. And like she said before, you don't want to be giving all of everything, serving and, just loving on a man that's not yours, first of all. That does not, you don't have a ring, you don't have papers or any of that, but you're doing all of the wifely duties. You're
Yes.
cooking, you're serving, you're sexing, you're showing affection, you're running errands, you're paying bills, you're doing all of that. And just you don't even know where the relationship is going, and a lot of times I think women, we miss it because we believe that if we do this, we can show them what we're really working with and who we are, and perhaps we it's like almost like being a candidate or something,
Yes. Yeah.
for whether or not he's going to choose you. But I say, if a man really loves you and he knows, if he's ready, because a lot of times they're not.
Yeah.
And when they're not ready, they would play with you. They would see what you have to offer while they're still trying to search out and figure things out, going from here and there. And then you become the competition of
Yes.
another woman.
Yes.
And you have to know who you are and what your worth is.
Yes.
Don't put yourself in a position where you have to compete with somebody's affection, whether or not he's calling you or if he's with her or vice versa. You have to be able to know that we were talking about just a minute before our commercial break that a lot of times when a man isn't ready, he would tell you he's still waiting on God to
Mhm.
send him somebody, or he's praying about it, or he has a whole lot to do right now. He's waiting to hear from God. And Shardae and I was just discussing that. When you are ready, ladies,
Yes.
and he's not, you don't wait around waiting for him to be ready. You
No.
keep it moving. You keep it moving.
Please.
And in the, as Shardae say, please,
Please.
right? And in the midst of you keeping it moving, do all of what you're supposed to be doing for yourself. And at some time, maybe the seasons will connect, or maybe you just have moved on and evolved, and you're no longer even interested in him at that point. Or maybe now he's interested, and the seasons have come together, and you're at the same level at the same time. What I've said, and I wanted to share this on the show. I was going to share it on my blog tonight, definitely, because I do go in a little deeper at night. But Shardae, what I said, because I tell people that I've taken myself off the market, and all that's saying is that I'm not dating. That's a simple term. I'll just say it like that. I'm not dating right now. I'm not in my dating season right now because I have too much that I am doing, too much I want to do.
Yes.
And when I really continue to get to where I know God is taking me, at that time and that time only will I be in a position to say, okay, I'm opening this door or I'm welcoming this person or whatever. But until then, I'm not there. But when I say that, you're looked at, oh, she must be bitter, or she's broken,
Right.
or she has walls up, or she needs to be healed,
Right.
or she's
Right.
hurting.
Right.
But when a man says he's not there, he's not ready, he got a lot to
Then
do,
it's
he's
okay.
busy,
Mhm.
he worked too much, he don't have time to settle down for a woman. Oh, he's focused.
Yeah.
He's busy, he's focused, he's on it. But why is that? I wanted
Yeah.
to say that because I hear that a lot when people hear that a woman is not interested automatically, or if she's not in that position, in that season where she's not seeking that, and that's
Right.
not her desire, then she must be hurt and broken.
And you know what? That's not always the case
Right.
because in recent years I haven't dated. I don't desire to date.
Right.
When I was in situationships what I like to call them.
Those situations.
Those
that send the
situations,
ship.
yeah, that sent the sinking ship.
Right.
At that time, when you come out of a place where you feel that you dimmed your light or your light was dimmed,
Mhm.
as soon as the flame begins to rise up and begins to burn and the light begins to shine and you begin to soar, you don't want to you don't want to not finish what you know you need to finish in that
Right.
season.
Right.
And so for me, I've been in a place where I supported other people's dreams, right? The people that we're with, we always do that. We always push
You're
them
on it.
to do
Yes.
great things.
Yes.
I've been there where I've given my all to help you accomplish what you wanted to do. And now this is my time.
That's
Now
right.
it's my time to let my light shine. It's my time to not compromise. It's my time to fulfill my dreams, my goals, my aspirations.
That's right.
And at the right time in the right season, God will send whoever needs to be sent. And when we find each other, we're going to be on the same path, doing the same
Right.
thing.
Right.
And so while I'm fulfilling my purpose and while I'm soaring and my light is shining, hopefully you're doing the same. And oftentimes we get it twisted. And you can't allow the dreams to die, ladies. Hear me clearly. There is something that is inside of each and every one of us that must be birthed.
Right.
There is something, not just children, not just physically things, but there's some spiritual things, some dreams, goals, and aspirations. I hear women, older women, all the time talk about how if they had time or if they could go back, they would have done this, and that. When I made 25, I said, God, I don't want to give anybody the rest of my 20s that's not supposed to be in my life forever.
Yes. Yes.
So at this point,
Absolutely.
on my 25th birthday, I made some decisions, and the decisions and the choices, no one else understood, and no one it blindsided everybody.
Right.
However, it was a moment in time where I said, "This is my time. This is time for me to go see the world. This is time for
Right.
me to go and complete some task ahead of me."
Right.
So we have to get into that place where you care enough about you, where you're not going to compromise and you're not going to compare and you're not going to allow yourself to stay stuck in those areas where you can't move the way God called you to move. I promise you, there are a lot of men. Don't listen to the statistics. There are men who want women like you. So
That's right. That's right. And when they mature, ladies.
yes,
When they reach a level of maturity, because we mature faster than men. We're pretty grounded and know what we want most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. But when they mature and they come to a realization of where they are, who they are, what
Yes.
they want, and why they want it, then they will be ready for you. But you don't have to. Be doing all of this, serving your way to it, trying to get them, trying to do this and that.
Mm-mm.
I say love yourself, date
Yes.
yourself. I'm
Yes.
enjoying life. I'm enjoying me. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And really, people say, and they kid with me, Mary J, you do so much, girl. I have men tell me, you don't even have time for a man. Actually, right now, I really don't. Not that I don't have time to go out and enjoy dinner and a movie. If I choose to, I do
Right.
that. But we're going to go further on this on tonight. I hope you all will share with us tonight at 10 p.m. Central
Yes.
Standard Time on blogtalkradio.com, because we're going in a little deeper tonight. Thank you so much, Shardae,
Thank
for
you
coming
for
on the
having
show.
me.
We're getting ready to wrap it up. You want to follow Shardae Womack. You can go to her page, Shardae Womack, and follow her there. She's going to be putting on a conference in January, and you'll be hearing more about that coming soon.
Yes.
Also, I want you all to stay tuned for Real Talk with Mary Jae on tonight for 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have a lot more to talk about as it relates to love and relationship and toxic relationships, because those strongholds will
Yes.
hold you down and keep you bound, and we don't want that to happen. Of course, we want you all to look forward to sharing with me in Violet, Louisiana on November 16th. That's a Wednesday night, y'all, at 7 p.m. at the No More Pain Conference with Dr.
Yes.
Glenda Williams. We want you to be there. No more pain. That's what we're going to talk about. I tell you one thing. I've been through enough pain.
Enough.
enough pain that I can preach about this thing now. Normal pain, and teach you how to break through, ladies, and how to let go and set yourself free. But you have to forgive. You can't stay
Yes.
broken, bound, and bitter. You have to be able to release that
Yes.
stuff to let go. You don't want any pain. First, forgive yourself, and then forgive the one
Yes.
who has hurt you and caused you to be broken. But I say, with all the broken pieces, God has enough to take them back together and make you a masterpiece. I know
Yes.
He's making me a masterpiece, Shardae.
He's doing the same for me.
Yes. Thank you, Shardae. Did you have a happy Merry Monday today?
Thank you. It was awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Mary Jae.
Thank you for coming on. All right, I have to get back with you guys. Come on and have a Merry Monday every Monday morning at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com and BlogTalkRadio.com/Real Talk with Mary Jae.